Okay, now we're calling a quorum because we've got one hidden back in the back. So there he is. So, Ms. Ogden, if you'll call the roll.
Senator Albritton, Senator Bell, Senator Carnley, Senator Coleman Madison, Senator Elliott, Senator Figures, Senator Gavan, Senator Orr, Senator Singleton, Senator Smitherman, Senator Stutz, Senator Weaver, Senator Barfoot. We have a quorum.
Thank you. So first bill on the agenda is SB 210 on hospital liens. We're going to carry that over. The next one is SB 176. We'll call the bill. Do what now? I think as long as Senator Bell's prepared to handle that I got a blank look there, so we'll take a chance on it. So, Senator Bell, you want to talk about that one?
Really, you just sprung it on me, so I thought you were handling, Mr. Chairman.
No. Well, let's say if we're not prepared on that. I thought that you were going to be at. What I understand this is that it's a tweak the DAs are looking for, but since nobody here can defend it artfully, then I think we should just carry this one over. So next one would be SB 167. Plus, I got a House committee I got to be in at 9, so we want to move this quickly. 167 by Senator Orr.
All right. I don't want to continue the trend, but I just sent the lady who entered the room saying, I think we got an amendment for SB 167, but Holly says she doesn't have it. And I saw one, but I don't have it. This bill is out of Texas. Texas passed this and said if you are in a DUI and you kill the someone who has small children, that as part of the criminal sanction, you can be required to pay child support as part of your criminal penalty for the minor children that just lost one of their parents. So that's the premise of the bill. The amendment would say that would not be to the exclusion of any civil action that may be brought against the drunk driver that killed somebody, that the criminal action, as far as the criminal penalty for the child support payments, would not come into effect or would not impact that civil capability. You don't want to do that. I mean, I'm for the amendment. Like I said, I thought it had been given to the clerk. Evidently not. I see it waved around, maybe out in the gallery. But I would commit we'll put the amendment on at some point, but certainly before the floor, and I would see it as a very friendly amendment.
I have a question.
Senator Smitherman.
Will first of all, will any other benefits as a result of what happened to that parent, will those be considered as offsets to what you're saying? I'm gonna just tell you why. That's what the military does. Instead of child support, they got an offset for, the children when somebody is in that situation, and that is taken in lieu of child support as because the amount, most time the amount is more than really child support. So, well, that's one question.
Well,
you just go now, and I have one.
I would see it, Senator, as and I can look and see what they do in Texas since they have it in their code. I would see it as the court would do what the court on the criminal side wants to do as far as the order, but as far as the exclusion, that would be up to the court. But we can certainly address that if you'd like. And that's a very good point.
Mm-hmm. I would, if you can come up with. Hey, the lawyer, I'm talking to this lawyer, so you can come up with something that you think that, address that. I'm okay.
We want to get the maximum, civil side and the court on the criminal side for that child or children. And that would be the goal.
Okay, and I had one other one, just for understanding, not a position or anything on something. And if it passes, then they will be responsible for child support until the child gets 19.
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, the amendment ferry just arrived. So, Mr. Chairman, may
Amendment
I'd
ferry.
like to leave to
Sure.
The ferry.
circulate the amendment to
This
the
is a gift
members.
from the amendment ferry.
And for those in the gallery, this is 6YY7W11-1. Make sure we have the right amendment. 3-4 of 25.
And one other question, I know there was, when you get a chance.
Okay, well, we'll make sure we have, I'd like to go ahead and offer the amendment. This does talk about the alternate recovery for under wrongful
Okay.
death.
I'll second
et
the
cetera.
amendment.
And then if perchance it needs to be changed, we can table it on the floor, but I'd like to offer that,
Okay.
Chairman.
So we've got a first and a second, and further discussion by Senator Smith.
No, let's go on.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a comment if I may on this.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I know that this is popular and this will probably pass along. I've got 2 or 3 concerns on it. Well, number one is if we're doing child support, does that mean that this guy becomes the steps in lieu of the father? I don't know if we want to go that route.
I think not.
Well, I can see creative lawyers using that in a way. The other aspect, though, is we are putting compounding penalties for a crime, plus the civil things. My question is, what about the guy who does this and he has a family of his own?
True. That's true.
And we're not only punishing the individual, we're also taking and affecting more people for the act of an individual. I think we need to be cautious of this. I mean, if we want to kill the guy, let's just put the death penalty in and get it over with and make it a lot easier and simpler and cheaper. But if we're looking at what's the best thing for society, we need to look at the children and the families that's involved and how that's going to affect and afflict. Other than that, I'll sit down and shut up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question similar to that, actually. Will it be admissible in the civil case that he's already paying child support in the criminal case?
So, Senator, we have a wrongful death statute that's all punitive damages. Alabama, I think, is either the only one or one of 2 in the country that has that method. So that's not, it's based upon the wrongfulness of the crime, or not the crime, but the act.
So in the civil case, the jury would not know that
Punish.
this person was already paying child support from the criminal side.
Should not.
Senator Smith.
I'll yield to her first if you allow
I
me
think
first.
Coleman Madison actually caught my eye earlier
I'll
and I
yield to
missed
both
her.
of them.
I've woken everybody up, Mr. Chairman.
I'm telling you, we were moving along so
That's
well.
right.
All right, so Senator
I'll
Figures.
be quick, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator Coleman Madison and Senator Smithman. My only question is about doing things fairly, being consistent across the board whenever something like this happens. So what about the parent who loses a child in something like this? So, why we're singling out when that child has lost a parent, but what about the parents and everything that they go through when they lose that child?
I would,
And then there's this. I'm sorry, Senator. Then there's I've just received something from a constituent saying that when a person is killed innocently somewhere, like shot in a bar or whatever, and the crime victim's money is capped at $15,000, but this person is going to can't even pay medical expenses with that, and then the care that's going to be needed after that. So they want to increase that. So it's like, as long as, if we're going to do something like this, I think we need to consider all cases when things happen by someone.
Senator Coleman Madison.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with Senator Albritton, and I thought about that as well, about the other family. If the person has a family that he's taking care of, or if he's already paying child support, he may be paying child support to more than one family, I don't know. But you are taking resources from the family that he has. Now he's obligated to work and take care of another family. I mean, I think justice should be, it should be swift, it should be fair. People should know what to expect. Right now, you don't know what to expect. And I think we are creating a problem that we don't want to get into. Can I ask you why this bill? Where did it come from?
That's what I told you. I saw it in the
Sorry, I might have missed it.
state of Texas passed this a year or two ago, and thought, well, if it'll prevent DUIs, to know how serious we are about it. And I'd say for the child that's killed, of course, the civil remedies out there. For the Senator Albritton question, what if the drunk driver is a multimillionaire? What?
But most times
if
they're not.
he got the assets to pay, so they're not affecting the child. Listen,
Yeah, they
but
have
I-
a driver.
But Senator, okay, we could go with the what if. So what if he's a farmer? Or, what if he's an insurance salesman or whatever? It needs to be across the board, whatever law is passed, and laws apply to everybody. And I mean, it might have worked there, but I would prefer us dealing with the issue of the crime that is committed under the circumstances. And then the other thing is that it gets into something, our laws is that if you're concerned about the child or whatever, what about other children who are born and fathers don't take care of them? I just see a huge inequity and raises so many issues. Could we just kind of deal with it based on the issue and the law that he broke?
Right.
well, the premise was to make sure we take care of the children that would be left behind, the minor children that would be left behind if a breadwinner is killed.
No, that's what we've been saying all the time as far as children that are born and are not taken care of. We've introduced several laws of legislations about that, but it keeps getting voted down. And, one legislator in the House made the statement, kill them now, kill them later. His thing was, when children are born, we're not taking care of them. This flies in the face of the fact that, okay, we are feeling that some children's lives are more important.
Senator Smithman.
Just one, couple quick observations. Number one, Senator Albritton, I don't know your whole concept, but the concept that I'm perceiving, I agree. It's kind of like, what didn't you? Who would that say? Just go on and kill him. Somebody said that. Yeah, he did. He did. And that's pretty much what you're gonna do. I mean, let's just be very frank about it. If this person can't pay this child support, with all these other factors that y'all have just brought in here, that's a death sentence. Because they're gonna go straight to jail. They're gonna sit in jail until they come up with the back child support as their bond. And while they're sitting in jail, they're gonna lose every bit of the job that their family got is gone. Now that's gonna happen. And any lawyer in here, including that one right there, know I'm telling the truth. That if you don't pay that child support and you're in a rude nice side, and they're gonna get them in civil and criminal contempt. They're gonna give them, sometimes they give them 5 days for every month or every year until you keep on paying it, you get to stay in. The second thing is that figuring up the child support. Figuring up what you're gonna allow in the formula. Okay, because now how you gonna appropriate credit for child support for your children when it's no established court child support, you know what I'm saying, to pay that. And y'all know the form, you get credit for that. See, it's like a madhouse of logistics. It's beautiful to pass the bill because and he's right, what we're trying to do, get DUI. But I'm back to what I always said, and you're going to hear the rest of the session. The airplane. That's the airplane going down the track. We are talking about the incidental consequences of the airplane. And see, that we don't ever sometimes dig deep enough in the incidental consequences to know how detrimental something we're doing to other people because our eyes are laser focused on we trying to do this. And that pathway is clear. So I think that it's a lot of logistics about the implementation of a bill like this in terms of everything we've heard in here. And I don't, I understand the senator. I think, at this stage, he may need a chance to get on out of here, see if he can rouse and do what he need to do.
Hold on just a second. I want to give you.
I'm going to take the advice of my committee members, the time of the chairman, and kind of conclude that maybe what people like in Texas, maybe in Alabama, they don't like so much. So I'll remove my motion for the amendment and move to carry the bill over, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, just one other point, though. When you say parents, the breadwinner, when a parent loses his life, the child automatically gets SSA, which is child support, supplemental. I forget what the SSA stands for now, but that happens as well. So that is the child support. And what about other children who get killed, but it may not be other parent breadwinners get killed in an accident, and it's the fault of somebody else, but it's not DUI. Thank you.
Okay, the bill's carried over. Thank you, Senator Orr. Next one is SB 244. Senator Melson, if you'll explain to us who you want to put in jail here, please.
Actually, I think I want to go get a drink after that last bill. Hey, there's nothing in the statute evidently about if you misappropriate retirement funds, municipal or whatever, you could take that funds and there's no way to prosecute them in certain situations, and this just kind of cleans up that loophole. The Office of Public Examiners asked this to be brought forward because of certain situations they found on audits, and there was no way to correct their actions.
But Senator, I mean, I wasn't just being silly. Who do you want to put in jail? The mayor, the county commission?
Whoever would be in charge of the retirement account.
Excuse me, Senator. Okay. Who's in charge of the retirement account? I mean, you have a lot of different people depending on the size of the city.
Sure. Well, this would be the
or
person
county or whatever governmental agency it might be.
It would be the person who commits the crime of aggravated theft.
All right, I'm CFO for city of X, and the mayor says this is how we're going to do this, and the city council votes unanimously, and I do my job, and I send the money where they supposed to go. You telling me I'm supposed to have the cuffs put on me?
Yep.
If you commit an act of aggravated theft of retirement account, yes.
I did what the mayor and the council told me to do.
Well, that's why you need to make sure they're giving you correct advice.
So now I've got to hire a lawyer to advise me about how I deal with city funds to keep me from going to jail as CFO.
And I hear what you're saying. I don't know that ignorance is, going to give you coverage of an account that you're taking custodial on in a retirement situation. And maybe Senator Orr can help me out here since.
Well, Senator Smitherman had
your co-sponsor.
Since he's reaching for help, if I could trade places with him, he can go right on out there, call me after him. Go right on.
So, here's the process. We take from employees' paychecks and put a percentage of that towards the retirement, but instead at the local municipality. So we're deducting from people's paychecks, and then we are taking that money and spending it on whatever else. And that's not a crime today. And this gives the examiner and others to say, if you're taking from your paycheck as a city employee for your retirement, but it's getting spent over here, and that happens in private business. It gets deducted sometimes from people's paychecks, and it's supposed to be sent in to the Department of Revenue. Well, it doesn't get sent in there. In this case, when you're talking about retirement in the public setting, it's not a crime. And that's a problem because literally they've stolen from you, the employee. Now, they hadn't used it for their personal benefit, but it's gone somewhere else in the city coffers. So it's a problem, and it's happened, and that's the reason I think we need to pass this bill.
Two concerns. One is that I can't figure out who said that, but you might have said it. you're going to have a lot of innocent people going to jail. Through the chain of you may have a data input person that may go just somebody who putting in data, just like you said they did with the mayor. Said if they touch this and they were the person who shifted it over there, and they just getting information from people doing their job, then they're gonna be brought into this situation. That's a concern, a serious concern. But I'm gonna tell you something else that I think that may be happening in that, and this it's gonna be problematic in terms of small businesses. The cash flow. You got the cash flow going. You're supposed to put something in, just like what he just said. You're sitting here. Okay, you're gonna put this in here at this date, then you're gonna have to close. But you gonna put it in at this date, and the date is the first, and you're gonna put it in on the 5th. You just violated it. If you spent this to pay the rent for the place, and then now it's the 5th, and you put the money in, but that's a violation of this law because you misappropriated. Just where he gave the example, someone get cut and do that, and it's no stealing. It's nothing. I mean, when you on the 8th, you're sitting right there, but they're gonna go to jail, according to what we just talking about in here. This is a slippery slope in putting some very innocent people in harm's way with the crime situation. I mean, with the law.
Thank you. So, to follow up, under ERISA, which is your business, like the senator was talking about, yeah, it's a crime for an employer to take some of those withholdings and then go spend and pay the rent, as he said. But for a public plan, like we have under RSA, it's not a crime. It's not a crime to take the money from the employees and spend it on playground equipment or whatever, and to give our law enforcement folks the ability to say, you can't do that. I believe we need to pass Senator Melson's bill.
Mr. Chairman.
I'd move favorable at the appropriate time, Mr. Chairman.
Well, first of all, I'm going to go back to the sponsor.
And I understand what you're saying about innocent people going to jail, but there's nobody more innocent than the hardworking person who puts his retirement only to find out when he's 65 it's been used for other purposes or taken out and not there for his retirement. So I think there's some responsibility on these administrators and the people in the cities to make sure that their employees are looked after and to make sure that when, that you hit that golden age, you're not requiring the government to provide you with benefits and the money you put in is available for you. So that's what I'm just trying to make sure that your retirement's secured. But,
Senator Albritton.
Thank you. In reading through this bill, it says clearly aggravated employee retirement benefits if the person embezzles, steals, or unlawfully and willfully abstracts or converts to his or her own use or to the use of another. And then it goes into this is not a matter of investment losses. This is a matter of you inappropriately using funds that's already been promised. And if this is a hole, we need to plug it. I would second the motion, and I think we need to get this going. I don't think this places any of the professionals in danger of going to jail. I think this places the professionals in a position of being more careful and more open about how they handle their funds.
Senator Bell.
Yeah, I was going to basically say what Senator Albritton says. This, when you read it, it embezzles, steals, or unlawfully and willfully. They're intentionally moving this person's retirement benefits. So it's not something that they accidentally did or their boss says, hey, go over here and pay this. They're stealing the money. This person's worked hard, and they're stealing that person's money. And like I said, they get later on in life, find out they have no retirement. So
that's who they're going after.
Senator Singleton.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to say that I also agree with this. I have this happening in my district right now. I was just visited by Ms. Riddle in my office just before we went on break to inform me of one of my counties where this is actually happening right now. And so we're just trying to get it all straightened out. So people are trying to retire, there's no money there for them to retire on because somebody has been taking away their funds. We just got to get to the bottom of it. It's good that we're not in a big county. We can properly measure it down because we're in a small area of who's been handling it. But I think we'll still get to the bottom of it.
I'm gonna vote for the bill, but I do still say that there needs to be something in there in that bill before we send it up here that makes it very clear that it's got to be the persons that y'all talking about. I mean, I go back to the data entry person. They gonna still be as guilty that that person spending if they are in that chain of action. And I think something needs to address knowledge, intent, specific intent, something in there as it relates to the processing of it or the whatever of it, because you can say what you want to, but that person is going to get popped the same way that the one who actually get the money and take somebody else's money if they're in the chain of that money from when it was put in by that person until it gets to that person right there. Okay? And, on our world, y'all know what that's called, conspiracy. Okay? So that's what that is. It could be something else, too. But so I just wanted to put that out there to the sponsor that these are some things that I'm requesting that he would address that have Leslie reference, because I know he busy now. He's dealing with the money. So we don't want to bother him. So we get a legislative reference to do it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. We don't have an amendment on this one, do we? I think. No. All right. So let's get a long roll.
Senator Albritton, Senator Bell, Senator Carnley, Senator Coleman Madison, Senator Elliott, Senator Figures, Senator Gavan,
No.
Senator Orr, Senator Singleton,
Aye.
Senator Smitherman,
Aye.
Senator Stutz, Senator Weaver, Senator Barfoot. We got 10-1.
Okay. Bill's given a favorable report. Thank you, Senator Melson. Next up is SB 218, Senator Price.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill here deals with an issue that actually happened in my district, and I had a mother to come to me and talk to me about what happened to her child, and it's a failure to render aid. And basically, very quickly, as far as what the bill does, is what it says as far as giving someone aid. Her son was at a party. He overdosed, passed out in the backyard, had 2 children. 4 days later, they found him. But everybody that was at the party left. The DA told the mother, there's nothing here that I can charge them with. I've carried this bill and we've reviewed it with the DA Association, and this will give them a tool, if they so desire, to be able to give a mother and those children closure. And that is why I decided to bring this bill to help as far as situations like this.
Any comments, Senator Smitherman?
Yeah, quickly, Senator, I think it's good what you're trying to do. What comes to my mind is these fraternity parties. That's what hit my mind right off. You got them out there, done got them half drunk, pledging, and probably about to pass out and everything else. And I don't know if y'all in the past have just kind of kept, but there have been several people who have just been kind of, everybody trying to get out of there because they don't want to have no blame, and that person is just there. So if that has happened, I know numerous times. So right. I would just say that I'm in favor of your bill. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Stutz.
I move at the proper time.
I've got a question about that. Is this just calling for assistance? I've read through it last night and then again now, failure to render aid. Does it require you to start CPR if they're unconscious?
It's just
calling?
Yes, sir.
Calling 911, basically.
Right. Yes, sir. You didn't really just walk off the scene and do nothing. is basically what it's doing. Because in the case of the family that I talked about, everybody just left, and it was in the middle of July, and 4 days later they found the body.
Yeah. So everybody at the party is covered by this.
That's correct. Yes, sir. And as I said earlier, I've run this through the DA Association and for them to look at it. It just gives them an additional tool if they so need it.
Mr. Chair.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
so my understanding, if everyone at the party is going to be charged with a Class C felony at this time,
It could be, yes, sir.
if there's 50 people at the party, we're going to find out all 50 of those people, bring them in, because no one offered, and do an investigation and charge all of them Class C
That's
felony.
what the DA decides to do, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Senator Figures.
what if he did this, he went out in the backyard, no one really noticed or saw him go in the backyard, and they could have just assumed he had left the party? And if the party was inside the house and nobody was outside, how do you prove that they were, or
The-
that they knew about what was going on? And I can't see anybody doing this, at least without going and at least saying calling 911 at some point, but 4 days later. So did the yard man just happen upon this person, or
A neighbor called. They smelled something.
I just don't.
Go ahead, Senator. I was going to tell you.
Well, I definitely wouldn't want to be at a party, and I definitely didn't know about something, and then I'm putting myself in a place for a felony. I just think that's unfair. I understand what you're saying, but I think something should go in here to say that they knowingly and willfully did not give aid or something, but just to be part of a group that's doing something and you honestly had no idea what was going on. I think that's totally unfair.
The DA did question a couple of people that were there. And basically, what the DA had to tell the family was that a couple of people they questioned did know, but they were scared. They were on drugs themselves, and they left. And
But that's not to assume
and
the
I
whole
underst-
group.
I understand what you're saying and what the other senator has said. You know, we're willing to look at, if you want to, once we get to the floor, be glad to look at an amendment that will take care of what your concern is. But I think it gives them a tool that right now the DAs do not have. And it also helps a family with closure. That right now a family does not have any closure because we do not have anything on the books that can actually
I
be
understand.
charged with.
I understand all that, but what about all the other families that are going to be affected? Innocent people who didn't even know anything about it, but they've got to go through all of that. They've got to get an attorney, and they didn't even know anything about it. So to me, it's too big of a wide net of a tool for me to be comfortable with.
I understand.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, just if I may, just a moment. You know, the first thing I was worried about was, you know, the thing I learned in law school, torts too. Once you do, you are. Once you undertake a duty, you're responsible to do it in reasonable care. But this does not go so far as to require you to give medical aid. It's just making you're trying to seek it. But I think you got a couple of issues here, and I understand what you're trying to deal with. And you know, fortunately, you know, the fraternity parties I was at had alcohol involved and not controlled substances of the nature you're trying to deal with. But I think there's got to be something on proximate distance and knowledge, awareness, because I mean, I could just see, I'm just envisioning our own, you know, everybody's in the chapter room, and then somebody goes out back in the backyard and does something, or in the parking lot, and nobody else is aware of it. You know, I think you're going to have a defense of impairment. I don't do criminal work, so I don't know about that, but that's for another day. But I do think we need to look at something that tries to nail down really who the culprits are here, and not just everybody in shotgun range. Senator Weaver.
So
You actually touched on a question that I had because the synopsis says, while engaged in the illegal use of a controlled substance with another. So would that not automatically make that person impaired if they were involved in that?
Theoretically, you could just be providing it and not partaking of it. So, I mean, I would think that would be a possibility.
Mr. Chairman, with due to time, and I know everybody's got other committee meetings to be getting to, what I'd like to do is 2 or 3 of my colleagues here that have had questions, I'd like to get with you and we talk about how maybe we can make this bill better and carry it over at this time.
Okay. So thank you, Senator Price. And
Thank
so
you.
we'll carry that bill over. And then we've got next SB 9 with Senator Allen on slap fighting. And there is an amendment on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee, we
He picked
passed
a day without Elliott here.
this passed in 2002, and Senator Smitherman and myself and others handled this. This bill was carried over with 2 questions. One was about the slap issue, which we want to prohibit that to take place in Alabama. The second thing was Senator Elliott brought up the fact about the money, and of course we do have an amendment, and those 2 issues on that one amendment, Mr. Chairman. So at that time, I would like to go ahead and move that amendment.
So is there a motion to? Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion on the amendment? All in favor? Any objection to using the previous roll for adopting it with changing me to a yes? All right, so the amendment is adopted unanimously. And Senator Smith. Okay, so there's been a motion for a favorable report. Is there a second? Okay, second from Senator Bell. Any objection to using prior roll? Hearing no objection, then the bill's given a favorable report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Committee.
Senator Allen.
Thank you.
Okay, Senator Coleman Madison, SB 153.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a bill that we've had and we've passed out twice. Mr. Chairman, you worked with me on it, and nothing has passed. And basically, what this bill is restoration of voting rights of individuals that have been convicted but have done their time and have met certifications. We also worked with the pardons and parole director. I know that says administrative obligations on the board, but actually this information they already have. They're already keeping track of it, and it requires the pardons and parole board to establish a website to make for individuals to know that they have completed their requirements. They keep all of this, and they know whether they paid restitutions and any other requirements that they have in restoring their rights. To put it on a website, to notify the Board of Registrars from the county that they were registered in, if they were registered, so that they can be put back on the rolls. Of course, if they were never registered, they would have to go through that process.
Mr. Chairman, I move for favorable report using previous roll.
Okay, been a motion and a second. Just a follow-up question. Okay, you and I worked on a bill. I think it passed the Senate. Did it ever pass the House?
No, we ran out of time the last time. We got in committee, but we really ran out of time to get it through.
Now, this seems a little skinnier than that bill, which is not a problem, but I just want to have a little more understanding.
Even the last time we separated out the 2 bills because it had about community service work. We worked through that, different agencies and everything. We took all that part out because they were, one of the things that was in the other bill was that they did not want to pay restitution. I said, that's not going to work. Mm-hmm. I'm not for not paying restitution. So we took that part out, and this just basically brings it down to what pardons and parole have agreed that they already have a record of, and it's basically putting it out there on a website and notifying the person and the registrars that they have completed their obligations.
Okay. So there's been a motion and a second using previous roll. Is there any objection to using previous roll? Hearing none, then the bill is given a favorable report.
Thank you.
Unanimously. All right, I think that's it. So.